Okay, very good morning, students. So we had actually a gap of 1 week because in the last week we didn't have any class. So if you remember, before that we had started off with regular expressions, and I'll be continuing with the same in this class as well. Okay, so before I get into today's class, let me tell you I'll be sharing the syllabus of automata from both Prithvinen's sir's portion as well as my portion in the Google Classroom. I guess Prithvinen's sir has posted some syllabus, but that is like half of the entire syllabus. It is just his part. So what I'll be doing is I'll be including both the parts, and I'll be reposting it once again. Okay, I'll do it by today. Fine. So let me start with today's class, and as I was saying, I'll be continuing with regular expressions. The last thing that we had learned about regular expressions were the different identities related to the regular expressions, and how to find a regular expression for a given language. Like if a language is given in statement, then how to find a regular expression or how to design a regular expression for the same, and as well as to find equivalence between two regular expressions. That is, if you are given two regular expressions and if you are asked that, you have to prove that regular expression 1 is equal to regular expression 2, then the proper methodology for doing that using the different identities we had seen so far. So today we will be seeing one more example for proving that two regular expressions are similar to each other, and then we will be moving on to given a transition system, that is a DFA or an NDFA, we have to find out the corresponding regular expression. That is the new thing that we are going to learn in today's class. Okay, so let me share the screen. So hopefully my screen is visible. Is my screen visible, students? Okay, just a second, I'm getting a call. হ্যাঁ বাবা বল, আমি তো মেসেজ করেছি, আমি অনেক মেসেজ করেছি, বাট যাইনি হয়। ঠিক আছে, কি হয়েছে? এই অবস্থায় বেশি চালাস না বাইকটা। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ আমি ঠিক আছে, নিজের খেয়াল রাখ প্লিজ। আমি মেসেজ করলে হয়তো যাচ্ছে না। ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ আমি কলেজে। হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, sorry for the interruption, students. So yeah, basically this is the first question that we are going to see today. So you have to prove that this regular expression, this entire regular expression is equal to this part. This LHS equal to RHS we have to prove. Okay, so if we start with the right hand side of the regular expression, we will see that this portion is common over here as well as over here. So what we can do, we can take this part as a common part, and after that what we will be left with is here we will be left with lambda, because we are taking this one out, and from this portion we will be left with 0 plus 1 0 star 1 star, and then 0 plus 1 0 1 1, right? So this entire portion will be there inside the bracket, right? And over here, since we are taking this part as common, we will be just left with lambda. Okay, so once we are done with this step, what will be our next step? If you look into this portion carefully, it is something of the form lambda plus r star r, because this particular expression is similar. This is also 0 plus 1 star 1, this is also 0 plus 1 star 1. The difference is there is a clean star outside this and there is no clean star outside this. So if we consider that r is equal to 0 plus 1, 0 star 1, then we can say that this expression is lambda plus r star r. And if you remember about the identities that we had learned, lambda plus r star r gave us r star. I'll just go back to the identity portion for your convenience. So this is the identity I'm talking about. Lambda plus r star r is equal to r star. Fine. So this is the identity rule that we are going to apply over here as well. So this is my r star and this is my r. So this is lambda plus r star r, which gives you r star. So I have just written the value of r, that is 0 plus 1 star 1 and then star. So the entire expression gets reduced to this one. After this, what will be the next step? If you see, you can take one common out of this expression, right? So if I take one common out of this, it will be lambda plus 0 0 star. Okay, lambda plus 0 0 star. So again, if you see, this expression is lambda plus r star, and here r's value is 0. So lambda plus r star gave us r star, which is nothing but equal to 0 star. So this entire expression get reduced to 0 star, 1 was already there, and there we had 0 plus 1 star 1 whole star. If you look at the RHS that we had actually to prove, it is similar to whatever we have got over here. We have just used the identity I9 twice, okay, and otherwise we have taken some portions common out of the expression, and this is how we have derived the right hand side of the expression from the left hand side. Okay, this is quite easy. You know, most of the times when you will be experiencing these type of questions, you will see that you are you are widely using this identity I9. Okay, this is very frequently used, basically this I9 expression, that is lambda plus r star is equal to r star. Okay, so you will get many such more examples, and I request you to practice such more examples where you're given two regular expressions and you're asked to prove that this left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Okay, it's a very common and a very popular kind of a question, may it be GATE or some other competitive exam or your normal semester exam. Okay, so now what I'll be doing is I'll be directly going to the portion that I was talking about, that is, given a transition system, you have to find the regular expression for the same. Okay, so here's the question for you. If you see that, consider the transition system given in figure something and prove that the strings recognized are this and this. So the regular expression is also given to you in this case, and you are asked to prove that this transition system is actually equivalent to this regular expression. So basically you have to derive the regular expression from the transition system. Okay, so the steps that we need to follow over here is, first of all, you have to identify the final state. Which is the final state over here, students? Q3 is the final state. Okay, so after identifying the final state, what we need to do is we need to derive the expression for each state. Now, how to design the expression for each state? Starting from the final state, if you see, I'll concentrate on the incoming edges. I'll just concentrate on the incoming edges. So for Q3, what is the incoming edge? It's this one. So there's an edge coming from Q2 with level A inside Q3. So we can write Q3 is equal to Q2A, because we have an edge from Q2 with level A which is coming into Q3. So Q3 simply is equal to Q2A. No other incoming edge is there, so this is the only expression we get for Q3. Now once we are done with the final state, let's move on to the other states. So let's move on to Q2. For Q2, what are the incoming edges over here? I have this incoming edge and I have this incoming edge as well. So Q2 is equal to, and I have this one as well. I have three incoming edges, right? So I can write Q2 is equal to Q1A, because from Q1 on getting A I am coming to Q2. Then I can write Q2B, I'm here in Q2, I'm getting a B, I'm coming to Q2, so Q2B and Q3A, because I was in Q3, I'm getting a A and going to Q2. Okay, so this is the expression for Q2. Similarly, for Q1, what I get is, see, Q1A and Q2B. And why is this lambda over here, students? Because Q1 is your initial state. Whichever is your initial state and you are deriving the expression for that particular state, you have to add this extra lambda for that particular expression. Okay, since Q1 is the initial state over here, we are adding lambda in the expression of Q1. Okay, so we have got three expressions or three equations for Q1, Q2 and Q3. Okay, now we are just going to start and concentrate from on the final state, which is Q3, because the expression of Q3 is going to give us the final regular expression, that is this one. Because Q3 is the final state, the equation or the final equation that we get for Q3 must be equal to the regular expression that we are trying to generate, right? So, if you look at the expression of Q3, Q3 is dependent upon Q2. So, for finding out the expression of Q3, we need to analyze the equation of Q2. So, let's analyze the equation of Q2 and come to the equation of Q2. So, let's come to Q2. Over here we have Q1A plus Q2B plus Q3A. So, just write it down as Q1A, Q2B, and for Q3, just substitute Q3 with Q2A, right? So, in place of Q3, I'll write Q2A, and A was already there, one extra A was already there. So, that's what we are doing. In the next step, it's Q1A plus, you take Q2 common, and what you are left with is B plus AA. Okay, so the expression we get is Q2 is equal to Q1A plus Q2 B plus AA. Let me write it for you in the canvas for your, Q2 is equal to Q1A plus Q2, Q1A plus Q2, and then inside bracket we have B plus AA. Okay, so we have B plus AA. So this is something that we have got. Now, if you look at this equation carefully and you remember the Arden's theorem that we have learned, all of you, I had explained and I have proved the Arden's theorem in the previous class. So, the Arden's theorem said that if we have an equation of something like this, R is equal to Q plus RP, then the solution for the equation would be R is equal to QP star. This was something that Arden's theorem told us, right? So, if you compare this equation with this equation, you will see that Q2 is nothing but equal to R. See, here we have Q2, here we have Q2. Okay. So, what is the value of this one? What is the value of R is equal to Q2, right? So, what is the value of Q? So, value of Q is Q1A and value of P is B plus A. So, what will be the solution for this equation? Then we can write that Q2 is equal to, there is R equal to QP star. So, here Q2 is equal to Q1A P star. So, B plus AA whole star. We can simply write this from this equation using Arden's theorem, and that is what we have done over here. Using Arden's theorem, we have written Q2 is equal to Q1A B plus AA star. So, we have got some value for Q2 which is independent of Q3 as well as Q2. In terms of Q1, we have got some value. Now, we are going to substitute this value of Q2 inside this equation of Q1. So, what is the equation of Q1? Q1 is equal to Q1A plus q2b. So in place of q2 I'll simply put the value of like this value, that is q1a plus q1a b plus double a whole star, and a b was already there and then lambda was already there, right? After that what I do is I take the q1 common and I'm left with a plus a b plus double a star b plus lambda. Okay, so this is again of the form, if you see, let me again go to the Canva for you. So we have q1 is equal to lambda plus q1 is equal to lambda plus q1 a plus q1 a plus a b plus a whole star a b plus a whole star, and then we have a b. Okay, and then we have a b. Okay, so again if you compare with the Arden's theorem, q plus rp, so this is your r, this is your q, this is your p. So the solution of this equation will be a qp star, that is lambda p star's value is a plus a b plus a whole star, we have a b whole star. Okay, so we can ignore this lambda basically. So r is equal to a plus a b plus double a star b whole star. Okay, so that is the thing that we have got over here. If you see, a plus a b plus double a star b whole star. So this is the value of q1. So once we get the value of q1, you will see that this value of q1 is independent of any of the states, and it's in terms of a's and b's. So what you do is you put the value of q1 in the equation of q2. What was the equation of q2? This one. So you put this value of q1 in the equation of q2 and get the value of q2 in terms of ab, and then again once you get the value of q2 in terms of ab, you put the same inside the equation of q3, and finally what you will get is this one as the final value of q3. See, two things you have to keep in mind. We are solving for the final state. So you might ask that when, like, how to understand that when to replace which value of the equation with what. See, basically we had started with this equation because this was our motive. We wanted to start with we wanted to get the value for q3. Now for q3 we are getting q2a. Again the value should be in terms of only a's and b's, so it's depending on q2. So I should solve for q2 at first. So I started solving for q2 and I found a value which was depending upon q1. So I again started solving for q1, and then finally I got a value in q1 which is independent of any states. And once I got the value, I'll put the same value in the equation of q2 for getting the value of q2, and again finally in the equation of q3, because that was our ultimate goal, to get the equation or expression for q3. So as and when you substitute these values in q2 and q3, you are going to get this final regular expression basically. And if you match it with the whatever was given in the question, you will see that it is the same thing that you have achieved at the end of the entire process. Okay, so again I am repeating, since q3 is the final state of this DFA, we are concentrating on the equation of Q3. Would it have been Q1 or Q2? We would have taken or considered the equation of Q2 or Q1 as the final regular expression equivalent to this given DFA. Okay. So is the procedure clear? It's a very easy procedure. Just you have to keep in mind about the different substitutions that you have to make, and you have to remember most importantly with the Arden's theorem, that where and how you can apply the Arden's theorem. Okay, so I'll come to the next example, but before that I just want to ensure that is the process clear to all of you? Please respond. Well, students, is the process clear to all of you, or is there any confusion? Okay, Rohit, are you saying something? Basically, you are not audible.
Yes, very clear.
Okay. So let me go to the next example. It's something of the same type, but over here you are not given the regular expression. So please read out the question. We have to prove that the finite automata whose transition diagram is as shown in this figure accepts the set of all strings over alphabet A comma B with an equal number of A's and B's such that each prefix has at most one more A than the B's and at most one more B's than A's. So I will come to this complex statement later on. The first thing that we need to do is we are given the transition diagram, or we are given the DFA. We will start solving for the regular expression. Once we get the regular expression, we will try to match it with the statement given here. Like, is it satisfying the statement that has been given in the question or not? Okay. So over here, what is the final state? Q1. So we will be solving for the equation of Q1 and not for Q2 or Q3 or Q4. So first of all, let us see, or let us write down the equations for the different states. So if you see here, the equation for Q1 is going to be Q2B, and then you have Q3A. So Q1 is equal to Q2B plus Q3A, and obviously a lambda will be there since Q1 is the starting state as well, is the starting state as well as the final state. Now for Q2, see, one more thing, students, if you see, since our main motive or your final motive is to find the expression for Q1, we will find out the depending components of Q1. So the depending components of Q1 are Q2 and Q3. So next we will go on to Q2. So for Q2, what is the expression? It's Q1A. That's it. So for Q2, it's Q1A. Next Q3. Q3, it's Q1B, the only incoming edge. So Q3 is equal to Q1B. Now Q4, you might write it down, but Q4 is not required. As you can see, Q1 is only depending upon Q2 and Q3. Q4 is not at all required. Okay, so you can simply ignore Q4 over here. So over here, what's the next step? We will be trying to substitute, right? So if you see, this is our equation, and we have substituted Q2 with Q1A, right? And we have substituted Q3 with Q1B. So what we get is Q1AB plus Q1BA plus lambda. So if you take Q1 common over here, you will get Q1 is equal to Q1AB plus BA plus lambda, again, which is equivalent to your Arden's theorem, where Q1 is your R, this is your Q, and this is your P. So finally, what will be the solution? R's value, that is Q's value, will be equal to QP star, that is lambda AB plus BA star. So lambda part can be ignored, and we will get AB plus BA star. So this is the regular expression that we are getting, and if you see this, look into this regular expression carefully, it's a combination of ABs and BAs, even number, always even number will be there, and for each A there will be a B, and for each B there will be a A, right? So now let's go back to the statement that we were given. So the regular expression should be such that the set of all strings of alphabet A comma B with an equal number of A's and B's. So yeah, we will obviously get equal number of A's and B's, because for every one we for every A we have a B, and for every B we have a. So that is fine. This first criteria is fulfilled. Then it's that such that each prefix has at most one more A than the B's, and at most one more B than the A's. Now let us analyze this part. Okay, so it's saying that first of all our regular expression is something like this, right? That is any combination of AB and BA. So it can be AB, BA, again BA, something like this. Okay, this is a string that we can get out of this regular expression. Now the statement says, again I'll go back to the statement, that each prefix has at most one more A than B, and at most one more B than A. So whenever we are talking about a prefix, right, so this can be a prefix, right? If you consider this entire thing as a language, because there should be AB and then BA, the repetition should be there, you cannot stop at ABB. So this is an entire language, and ABB can be the prefix. So in this prefix you see always there is either one A will be extra or one B will be extra. Okay, again if you take this entire thing as a prefix of this string, you see here again one B is extra, because 1 2 3 number of B is there and number of A's are 2, so one B is extra. So like anywhere and everywhere, if you are going to consider a prefix for this particular language, you will see that either one A will be extra or one B will be extra. The reason for this is the language or the string will always be even length, with an equal number of A and equal number of B. So whenever you are considering a prefix of such a string, you will be always left with either an extra A or an extra B. So this criteria is also fulfilled, and after analyzing the same, you can say that yes, the expression, the regular expression that we have got is satisfying the condition that has been stated in the question, and therefore this is the intended regular expression, okay, that we have that is meant for this particular DF. Okay, is it clear, all of you? Not just the derivation of the regular expression part, but even if the regular expression is directly not given to you to be proved, if the language is given to you, now how are you finding out the analogy between the given language and the regular expression? So that is the most important thing, that this part of the question, the statement is actually equivalent to the regular expression that we have got. So this thing should be very clear to all of you. Okay, again there might be some questions where neither the regular expression is given to you nor the language is given to you. You will be just given the DFA, and you will be simply asked that convert this DFA or this transition system in an equivalent regular expression. So just follow the process that I have taught you, and whatever regular expression you will be getting, that will be the equivalent regular expression. Okay, there will be no chance of proving something in that case. Okay, so I hope the process is clear to all of you, and the different variations that might come from this portion is clear to all of you. So if there are no more doubts, basically you can go and give your IMC-RP test. Okay, so thank you so much, students.
Thank you, ma'am.